So, welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday. Super excited that you are all on this call. I know I speak for Rachel when I say that we are excited to have you on the call. We so appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to learn about this revolutionary phototherapy patch that we were introduced to about 18 months ago now, I think, Rachel. So we're going to get into some powerful testimonials tonight, open it up for Q&A for those who are on the call tonight, but just a little bit about who we are. So I am Beth Blackmore. I'm a health and empowerment coach. I've made big changes in my life over the last couple of years, and about 6 years ago, over 6 years ago now, I started making some substantial lifestyle changes. So, with my food choices and eating habits, I lost 60 pounds in the process. I also left my government career, pension and all, when I wanted more medical freedom. And I chose to follow my passion and help others with their health goals and aspirations in life. So I consider myself a lifelong learner, open to new information. And so about a year and a half ago, I started to learn about the whole realm of quantum biology, circadian rhythm, harnessing the power of light, our light environment, thanks to my friend Rachel here. So I started changing up my light environment, waking up earlier, harnessing the power of the sun, changing up my eating habits again. So eating a little bit earlier in the day, grounding in nature. So when a good friend of mine reached out to me about a light patch, you can see it here on my wrist, I was intrigued. I invited Rachel on the call last May, so May 2024, and we were excited about what we had our hands on, including the science, the company Lifewave, and the life-changing testimonies. So, and really my personal belief began with my mom. So I felt I was fairly healthy, having gone through a tremendous transformation. And I thought, okay, my mom could really benefit from her debilitating knee pain, for instance. So within a few days, my mom, her knee pain reduced significantly. The physiotherapist that she was seeing 3 times a week, she noticed more mobility, less inflammation. She wondered what she was doing differently. And the only thing that had changed was this patch, this sticker that her daughter put on her. But it didn't stop there. She started sleeping better. She had more energy. She got back to the things that she loved doing, like walking and gardening and swimming. For me, the first thing I noticed was that I was finally able to sleep through the night, having vivid dreams, which was really unheard of for me. And I did also have this lower back pain, this compression issue, especially when I was walking or standing for long periods of time. I was going to chiropractor every 3 weeks. I no longer have experienced that pain at all from within a week after patching. My energy, my mental clarity, my focus have improved, and I feel like I have this sense of calm. And what is truly exciting is that I know that the best is yet to come. So my body is continuing to heal, to repair, to age reverse. And there's also a really exciting financial opportunity with the trajectory of this company. And I'm going to touch a little bit more on that a little bit later. So we're going to hear some powerful testimonials tonight to kick off the call. But just before we do that, I would love to invite my good friend, my co-host, Rachel Maurice, to introduce herself and share her journey with you tonight.
Thanks, Beth. And hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. And I know that time, for me anyways, time is my most precious asset. So I appreciate you all taking the time to be here and spend it with us and to learn more. And so a bit about me. For those who are not aware, I worked as an anesthesiologist in Canada for close to 20 years. I left in 2021, and that was for wanting to be able to make my own choices over my own health and my family's. I didn't think that I would be gone for very long, but as it turns out, I have not gone back and I'm not going back. But in all of that time where I thought I was going back, I started to do a lot of research and into information that was basically contradictory to everything I had learned in the last 30 years and ended up unearthing something I was not expecting to, and that being a whole new paradigm of health and how the body works. And so it was not that everything I'd learned in medicine was completely wrong, it was just very incomplete. And by that, I mean, I started learning how the body functions and every single physiologic process in the body, the primary signal comes from light. And so our light environment, as well as the way the water networks work in the body, it was a complete shift for me. I started beyond that first hurdle, I became excited and started making some shifts in my own lifestyle because of the issues I was dealing with, and realized that there are a lot of things that are available to us that we are unaware of. And in that, started doing deep dives into tools that we can use to enhance our light environment when we are unable to get what we have been given naturally in our environment. And ended up coming across, I was introduced to these patches a year before I investigated, because I really didn't think they were anything beyond what a red light panel was. And I had already had several in my home, so I just didn't look any further. And then it was a year later, when my mom's health started to decline, that they came around again, and ended up getting on the call with Beth and Diane. And Diane, I'm not sure if it was mentioned, she was a cardiac surgical nurse for 20 years, and my mom's primary health issues had to do with her heart. So that caught my attention. And Diane shared with me not just stories, but investigations of people who had been in heart failure, people who had rhythm disturbances that were refractory to allopathic treatment, shock therapy, medications, getting out of their rhythm disturbances while on these patches, using these patches. And after 8, 10, 12 months, again, wearing these patches, no longer being in heart failure. So after understanding the fact that there's literally no downside to trying these patches, we got started right away. And I wasn't just going to let my mom be the guinea pig, so myself as well. And now both my kids are using them. So we've got the whole family on board. But I prepared my mom to have patience, because we are a drive-through society. We have this expectation. We've been conditioned and programmed to want things done very quickly, right away. If we don't see results immediately, it's not working, which is not the way our body works. Our body takes decades to get sick. We only see the breakthrough of the iceberg when it goes through the tip of the surface of the water. So I prepared my mom for patience, to have patience. So needless to say, I was shocked when within 2 weeks of her starting the patches, she went from having to stop every 2 to 3 steps to catch her breath from the heart failure, to walking with me for 20 to 30 minutes at a time while talking on an incline. And then 3 weeks later, her doctor actually lowered her thyroid medication that she had been on for over 30 years. So she had some other changes since then, but I also want to be mindful of the time here, and we can get into those later on. But that was the significant and impetus for me really taking off with sharing these patches.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rachel. So we are going to get into some testimonials right now, and I would love to call on Katie. I believe you're on the call, and I hope it's a good time for you to share. If you can unmute yourself and share your story with us tonight.
Yes, perfect timing. I just got home, and I may
Great.
not, I've been out walking my dog, so I look a little disheveled, but Rachel, your story, obviously, as you know, resonates with me, and that is why I became interested in the patches, is for the very reason that you spoke of with your mom. For anybody who doesn't know, Rachel and I have known each other since I think we were 6 years old, so I know Rachel's mom, and have fond memories of sleeping over and getting cuddles from her at night. And she's a lovely, lovely lady. And so when I saw your post on Instagram about the progress that your mom was making, sorry, that's my husband breaking up dog food in the background. I was intrigued because I too have a thyroid dysfunction, which I had really railed against being on medication for my whole life. And then I had started to see a lot of the side effects that come with the thyroid disease, which is the eyebrows start to like fade, you lose your eyebrows, you lose your eyelashes. My hair was thinning to the point where it was embarrassing. Like I could see patches of my baldness. I was exhausted all the time. I was dieting endlessly and not seeing any results. I was taking every supplement you can imagine and seeing no results. And when I heard the story about your mom, cutting her thyroid medication in half, I think I messaged you immediately. I had been following you for some time regarding all of the teachings and learnings on circadian rhythm and light, and just how to live an optimal, healthy life. But that was what really kind of tipped the scale for me. And so you got me started on them. And I was also prepared to wait months and months to see results. I think, there was some statistic about how long it takes for every decade of life. I did not have to wait very long before I too lowered my thyroid medication by half. Um, and the energy that I had just came back. Like it was, I used to say that I could go out for a run and I would feel like I could fall asleep while I was running, but I suddenly had energy to run and to walk my dog. I'd also had quite a catastrophic injury with my dog actually dragged me. He was running from something and dragged me and I tore my rotator cuff. And within probably a month and a half of taking the patches or using the patches, I got back in the gym and I remember somebody said to me something about that my back, like they noticed how well defined my back was. And I thought I had been terrified after this injury that my dog had ruined my ability to ever work out again, to ever be healthy, to ever like do anything again. I mean, I couldn't lift a suitcase. I couldn't, anything. And for me, like the most outward sign of what's like of the change that's happened has been my hair. I've never been able to grow my hair past my shoulders for the last, well, since I was a kid. Like it was so brittle and dry and I mean, it's not, I mean, it's crazy long for me now. But beyond that, like when I go to the hairdresser, she's like, wow, like I can't believe it. I don't have to, like your hair, I don't have to cut off all the dead ends. I'm not coloring it anymore. So the color is staying. Which I had very, like it was going very gray before. And then the other, my husband, I've introduced my husband to them and we've seen some changes in his health as a result of that. I also have my dog on them. He was attacked a few months back badly and had his jugular ripped open. And I had heard about the wound healing capability of these patches. And so it was such a bad injury. And I decided, what do I have to lose? And I knew, Rachel, that you were using them with your doggo as well. And I put them on him. And within a week, the wound was healing. And the vet actually said, like, what are you doing? I can't understand how this can be healing so quickly. And he also had huge anxiety, which has completely gone. Well, it's not completely gone away because he's a Great Dane and they're known for their anxiety, but he's a different dog today than he was before starting these patches. So he's been on them for about 6 months now. And we're just seeing huge, huge improvements in his demeanor. But I always say when people say, wow, your hair looks really good, I always think, wow, like it seems like a small thing to be so excited about. Oh, wow, my hair finally grows. But I mean, I'm not a doctor, and I love when the people who kind of know the science behind this say, you just need to get people to get them interested, and then we can talk about all the science. Whatever is happening on the inside has to be 1,000 times more than because, like, if that's what's happening with my hair, I can only imagine what's happening on the inside. I feel better. I'm sleeping again. Like I used to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and your brain just comes online and you're just anxious and you're worried about your day. That doesn't happen. And the other really significant thing is I don't get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night anymore, which is huge because sleep is so important. And when you get up in the middle of the night, it completely disrupts things. And then you are exposed to the light while you try to find your way to the bathroom or whatever it is. And so it's been like just an incredible transformation for me. And I'm, I mean, I'm 100% sold. I feel like this should be mandatory for people to use these things, but yeah, it's truly amazing. It's really changed our lives completely.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, we're going to end the call there. And anyone who wants to sign up, just get a hold of the person that invited you on the call. No, I'm
Okay,
just
I
kidding.
am
That
going to
was
sign
just
off,
amazing. Yes, thank you
but
so much for coming on tonight. I know it was a last minute request, but we appreciate your story and so happy for you and
yeah.
what you've been experiencing. And you've got an amazing eyebrow game. So amazing. I love it. I love it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, take care.
Have a great
Bye.
night. Thank you.
Bye.
Tamara, we'd love to hear from you if you can unmute yourself.
Absolutely. Thanks, Beth. Appreciate the opportunity. So yeah, my story kind of started meeting Beth in a parking lot in Ottawa. Now I'm down here in Campeche in Mexico talking about it. But Beth shared some patches with me when I had placed my first order, and I put that patch on as we were talking in the parking lot. Literally, as I was driving home, I noticed that 6 years of hip pain that was just discomfort, nothing debilitating by any means. But I had felt it every day for 6 years at least. And within that drive home, that pain disappeared, and I haven't felt it since that moment. So that for me was a really incredible thing that convinced me at that moment that these patches were a great fit for my life and for my husband. So, I went from there within the first week or so for sure, possibly even the first couple of days. Mental clarity skyrocketed, energy lifted for sure. And one of the biggest things for me was going from 6 to 7 hours of sleep a night and sometimes waking up and not being able to fall back asleep or vice versa to sleeping like 8 to 9 hours every night. And I'm still doing that consistently now. I sleep like a log and I feel very rested and aware when I get up in the morning. So great for me on that front. My husband's also noticed the mental clarity and the sleep as well from his perspective. His digestion's gotten better after 17 years of struggling with it since he had his ankle operated on for a broken ankle. So for him, that was a real game changer because he's struggled to maintain or put on weight as a result of all of that. So that's been huge for him. And then I would say two of my other most noticeable experiences with the patch, and I started in August of 2024. So I'm about 16, 17 months in now, I think, maybe 17 or 18 even. I would say after 4 months of wearing the patch, I had had fillings that had fallen out of two of my molars about a year and a half before I started patching. And I noticed that the holes where the fillings had been were significantly smaller. And they're still not fully repaired, but I think it's pretty close to almost being back to where someone would say that there was never any cavity there. So huge, huge thing. Didn't have insurance for a dentist, so I waited it out. And, I think these patches have made all the difference in the world on that front. And then the other thing that just came to my mind as Katie was speaking was my hair. My color is back to probably what it was, or even a little bit more vibrant than it was when I was in high school. And I had this little gray patch that has been right here for years. And it's almost entirely gone now. So, yeah, those are my quick summary of my experiences, but it's been a really great experience this far, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it continues to improve things over the time.
Amazing, Tamara. Thank you so much for joining the call tonight, and so happy for you and your progress and what you are experiencing. So keep us updated on what's going on with you. I'm going to now share a formal presentation for you to understand why Tamara, why Katie are having such amazing results, why my mom, Rachel's mom, and all of us that are on this patch are experiencing incredible results. So we're going to get into the science behind it. I would love for you to let me know if you can see my screen that I've just shared. All good. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So tonight you are going to learn how your body can activate the power of your own healing through the power of your own light. And so I just want to say at the outset that Lifewave products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. The patch is actually not a medical device that requires FDA approval. It's considered a general wellness product by the FDA. So did you know, I'm going to throw some stats at you, that our stem cells actually go dormant. So by the age of 30, healthy stem cells decrease by 60%. And by 60 years old, those stem cells decrease by a whopping 90%. And so not only is this natural aging process contributing to the decline in our health, the slower healing process, but unfortunately, the modern world that we live in. So this modern age of convenience, of consumerism, we are inundated with the environment, with the poisons, with the toxins, with the chemicals in the air, in the water, in the food, in the man-made synthetic radiation everywhere. All of this leads to cellular dysfunction. And our bodies require healthy, active stem cells to heal and repair the body. The fewer stem cells you have, the faster you age and the slower you heal. So stem cells, for those of you that don't know, I certainly didn't know this when I got started, but stem cells are the undifferentiated cells that can become any cell in our body, including your heart cells, your brain cells, your lung cells, your hair cells. So we've heard about stem cell therapy, but where do those stem cells come from, right? Where are they sourced from? Stem cell treatment, we know it also to be pricey. It's not always accessible or available. It can have a huge risk to it. It's invasive. I actually heard a stat recently that it's only about 50% effective because they stay local to that injection site. So this is why regenerating your own stem cells within you is so exciting and why this phototherapy patch is such a powerful option. So phototherapy or healing with light, right? Phototherapy is becoming more of a household name, becoming more mainstream with the red light panels, red light therapy, gadgets. But phototherapy is really nothing new. It's something that all living beings, all living things depend on. So the sun is nature's original phototherapy. It signals our body to make vitamin D and other vital processes in the body. But photobiomodulation is a type of light therapy or phototherapy that uses specific wavelengths of light to stimulate cells that promote the healing process. It also boosts energy, reduces inflammation, it improves blood flow, helps with tissue repair. And what has us so excited is that it's now accessible. It's non-invasive, it's affordable, and risk-free. And so what if these little wearable light patches are also capable of increasing a naturally occurring copper peptide? Well, that's exactly what this patch does. So through this process of photobiomodulation, this little light patch increases the production of human or our own GHKCU copper peptide. And this copper peptide is known as the holy grail of age reversal. And it is not a synthetic peptide that you are injecting, right? These are your own. They are naturally occurring, but just like with stem cells, they decrease with age. And so this unique peptide was isolated back in 1973 by researcher PhD Lauren Picard. And so there is 50 years of research to back it up. You can actually check pubmed.gov. It's this online repository. There are tons of studies and research that you could do on this copper peptide. So some of the amazing benefits that we know about it is that it boosts collagen and elastin production. Again, this is our own. It supports tissue repair, regeneration. It's also known to have multiple anti-inflammatory, anti-anxiety, and even anti-pain, anti-cancer properties. GHKCU is also known to reset over 4,000 genes in our body, in our genome. So basically resetting DNA to a younger, healthier state. But what is so exciting and fascinating is that, and what the research also shows, is that GHKCU reactivates our own dormant stem cells. And it does this through the power of this patch. So the X39 from Lifewave is a wearable phototherapy patch about the size of a quarter. This patch consists of organic materials, so amino acids, sugars, oxygen, water, and salt. And these ingredients form this crystal lattice structure that reflect wavelengths of light back into our body. And so what I love about it, and what is counter to anything that we've been exposed to in the conventional medical system, is that there is nothing on this patch going into your body. They are non-transdermal. They are latex free. They do not contain any chemicals or stimulants. There are no contraindications, so they do not interfere with any other medications because nothing is being absorbed into your body. It's a completely different mechanism from what we are used to. So this patented product uses the process of photobiomodulation. So it's activated by your own body heat, by your own infrared light. We are all light beings. We all emit this low-level infrared light. We are all warm to the touch. So think of this patch like a mirror, reflecting specific light frequencies back into the body, signaling biological changes at the cellular level, including upregulating the GHKCU copper peptide and reactivating your stem cells. So now that you know how this patch works, I'm going to turn the mic over to Rachel to walk us through the incredible benefits of the X39.
Thanks, Beth. So these are only some of the benefits, and really it is about the GHKCU copper peptide. So the X39 increases that copper peptide, and that is what creates all these benefits. And that's where all the research has been done. So starting with reducing inflammation and pain. For those unaware, inflammation is fundamental to almost all chronic diseases. And so really putting out the fire of the inflammation can allow you to reverse symptoms and even disease labels, as we do in medicine. And pain, there are so many people walking around with chronic pain, never mind acute pain, but around 30% of the population walks around with chronic back pain. That's just back pain. There are so many other pain syndromes, and I know that intimately because in anesthesia, there's a subspecialty that is for chronic pain management, and it is a huge subspecialty. And so this is pretty significant. I'm sure a lot of people on the call are struggling with this as well. Improves stamina, strength, and energy levels. And this is not just for someone who's lacking in that, but also someone who wants to take their athletic performance to the next level, and any edge that they can get on competitors if they are competitive. This definitely helps with, as we have professional sports players and Olympic athletes also using these patches. Improves muscle and bone density, which is something that decreases with age, improves mental clarity and reduces stress. And so mental clarity is a really big one. A lot of times people, and I've seen this a lot in the hospital as well, with 30 years working in the hospital setting, that even when people's physical bodies start to deteriorate, they are grateful when they still have their mental faculties, because when that starts to go, then it makes people isolate themselves. And we know as human beings, we need community, we need connection. And so bringing that back is really no small issue. And reducing stress, I think this one everyone can attest to. There's a lot more stress in the world nowadays. There always has been, but it's just escalated, especially in the last 5 years. And medicine doesn't give enough credence to the fact that stress, even though we talk about it, feeling it emotionally, that actually physically affects us, because stress, there's a lot behind that, but it definitely affects our physical expression of disease as well. So reducing that can definitely help, not just with the feeling of the emotional burden, but as well the physical. Balancing hormones and easing anxiety. So that's very common in the age group that I'm in anyways, but even there's a lot of premature issues with around perimenopause and menopause, but not just to do with that, with adrenals and thyroid and the pancreas. There's a lot of issues that people are struggling with. So balancing hormones is a big one, and easing anxiety goes along with the stress as well. Improving hair growth and skin appearance. I know Katie touched on that in her testimonial there. And she also mentioned, which was very astute, that what we see on the outside is really a representation of what's going on inside. And if we can see what's going on the outside, imagine what's happening on the inside. And so for this one, this really is, it has to do with an increase in collagen production. Now, collagen goes, it's more than to do with hair, skin, and nails. It's actually the most abundant protein in the body at 70%, and it forms the infrastructure for all of the connective tissue and the fascia and basically the skeleton that holds everything in place. But also, almost more importantly, it is the connection for every single part of the body. So the collagen through the fascia touches every single part, including inside of the cells. And the way collagen is structured is it forms these tubules of water in the middle, and the way water is structured in the body is such that that is how light travels. So it is actually the quantum communication superhighway in the body, the collagen network. And so without communication, we know just from any kind of groups or organizations we have, there's a breakdown. When there's a breakdown in communication, everything breaks down. So when there's good communication, things work together in harmony and coherence. Same with our body. Promote cellular repair and wound healing. And we also heard about that. Katie talked about her dog and the fast repair that the vet noticed. This really, as much as medicine likes to divide and separate and subdivide names of diseases. We have about over 36,000 names of diseases in modern medicine. Everything boils down to cellular dysfunction. So this promoting cellular repair really means that it can help with just about anything, any issue that you're having trouble with. And improving sleep quality, that's another big one. And again, I think Katie touched on that one. So these are big. It's really touching on all of them. But sleep quality, although some people might not really realize or understand just how profound this is, it's like a mini hibernation for us. And that is when most of the cellular repair and regeneration takes place. So when we don't sleep, then we are breaking down and we're not having the time and the ability to do the repair when we're sleeping. So making sure that you get that time and quality of sleep really allows you to do the repair and regeneration. So the long-term results for this, and this was touched on earlier, within the first few days, over 4,000 genes begin to reset to a younger state. So to give context to this, there was the Human Genome Project that was done in the early 2000s, and they ended up discovering there were only about 20,000 genes. They expected 160,000, but they only found 20,000. Of note, it's about the same as a fruit fly, but that's we're a little more advanced than a fruit fly, I would like to think. It's all about epigenetics and how the genes are expressed, because you can, anyways, I'm not going to get into that, but resetting over 4,000 genes out of 20,000 is a massive amount. And again, just to understand how much that is, many people on here might know about the benefits, or what we've been told about the benefits of red wine, because there is that chemical in there called resveratrol, which of course the modern world has packaged, and now you can go and buy it as a supplement in your health food store. And the attention that is given to resveratrol is because it resets 2 genes. So 2 genes, and this GHKCU resets over 4,000 genes. Within 6 weeks, the brain becomes more balanced. What does that mean? That means the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain are actually speaking to each other. Again, going back to communication, and communication being at the bottom, really fundamental to how we express health. And within 3 months, collagen is increased, and I already talked about that. Within 6 months, the heart reverses in age. And I love how David Schmidt puts it. It is not anti-aging, it is age reversal. It's so true. Now, how to wear it. This is really one of the things that I love best about this, because having worked in medicine for 30 years, lots of people like the quick fixes, the surgery, the pills, or not to have to actually do anything. And I try to help people with taking back responsibility and lifestyle changes to improve their health. And it is really difficult when people are even very motivated. So when you have something like this, that's probably even easier than taking a pill. You literally, it's a sticker, you peel off the back, you stick it on your body, you wear it for 12 hours, you take it off, you go about your whole day. It doesn't interfere with anything. You can shower with it, you can bathe with it, go in the water, the sauna, red light, all the things you can do with it on. And it's tiny. You take it off at the end of 12 hours. You can either throw it away, or you can put it on your dog. Like, again, Katie talked about, I put it on my dog. There are several people who use it for their dogs. Or you can put it on a plant. And I actually have a friend locally who's done this with unbelievable results. A plant that flowered after 12 years of never flowering, which is insane. So there goes the placebo that some people say. And then you repeat that, you put it on, and really you want to wear it for a minimum of 90 days. The research shows 97% of people see an effect by 90 days. But so when people ask me, oh, can I use it for 1 month and then reassess? If they're just going to use it for 1 month, I usually tell them not to bother to come back when they're going to give it and commit to a minimum of 90 days. Really, though, the recommendation is a month for every decade that you've been alive, because that is when you get full reactivation of your dormant stem cells. However, having said that, the longer you wear it, the more benefits you actually start to see. And if you're anything like me, again, having worked 30 years in medicine, I have seen a lot, and I would rather prevent having to get myself to go see anyone in the medical system than having to work my way and crawl my way out of a disease process. So it depends on your goal, how long you want to wear it. And you want to make sure you drink plenty of water and electrolytes. And I touched on that earlier with the collagen and the communication and how light travels through the water network in the body. So this is quite important. And it's not just water, the electrolytes, which can be any kind of unrefined salt. So you don't have to go to an electrolyte powder. But unrefined salt still has all of the minerals attached. The minerals help hold water in the body. They add to the charge, which we need for our cells to function properly. So that is important, as well as increasing foods that are high in copper. Now, just like making a cake, you need all the ingredients to actually make the cake. If you're missing, I don't know if anyone's ever just forgotten the salt, which is usually like half a teaspoon. You can tell in the entire cake, you can tell that it does not taste the same. So just like this, the copper peptide, you need the substances to be able to make the copper peptide, including the copper. And so I usually go to foods before I go to supplements. So the ones at the top of the list, everyone's favorite, right? I'm being facetious, is organ meats, although some people do love them. Organ meats. You've also got oysters, again, ones that I can't handle those, but they are a superfood, not just for this, but really in so many respects. So if you love them, then have at her. Seafood, shellfish, and for those who don't eat any of those, avocado. These are just some that I'm listing. Avocados are rich in copper, nuts in particular, cashews, seeds, sunflower seeds, and probably everyone's favorite is a small square of dark chocolate. And I mean, a small square is enough for the day. You don't need to eat the whole bar, although not everyone has that ability to stop. So what to expect? This is also an interesting one that like I said earlier, we have been conditioned. We're a drive-through society. We see other people. We compare ourselves to other people. Well, this person's, their pain went away in 3 hours, and mine is still here after 1 week. So we are all different, and you want to make sure you write out your wish list and you look at things not from a disease label name, like I was talking about. Really, at the basis, it's all cellular dysfunction, but really, if you're having issues with joint or pain or your digestion or mobility issues or vision, stuff like that. But we are all different, and we've all come to this planet with a different set of genetic instructions. We've been alive a different number of years. We've grown up in different environments, different mental, physical, and emotional states. We live in different environments, might be under chemical stresses, physical stresses, emotional, all of the toxins in our food, air, whether you eat organic or not, all sorts of things they're different. So what's going on inside everyone's body is very different, and your body knows what priority, in what sequence you need to fix things. So while you might start wearing the patch for a particular reason, let's say my mom's friend, he started wearing them because he had headaches. He was 85, had headaches that he wanted to disappear, but they weren't gone after 2 months. But he neglected to say until his wife volunteered the information that he was no longer wearing his reading glasses. So the things that happen in our body happen in a specific order. We don't know. We're not going to know. I think the body is, we've been intelligently designed, and I don't believe that we're ever going to figure out how things actually work. And our body knows it has an intelligence. It's going to do what's needed. And sometimes what's going on in the body, you can't actually feel. There are several people that we now know have been in kidney failure, did not feel a thing while they were wearing the patches. So they might have stopped and said, nothing's happening. But because they were monitored by their specialist, they found out that after 6 or 8 months, they were no longer in kidney failure. But they didn't feel everything. They didn't feel anything that was going on in the body. We don't feel everything that's actually taking place. You don't notice when you've got your blood vessels are contracting and your blood pressure is going up. You don't notice, you don't feel that kind of thing when your pancreas is releasing the insulin. So just know this does work, and when you're tired also, it means that it actually is working at the beginning, because just like, not that I like to compare our bodies to machines, but like a cell phone, when you've got a full battery, full energy, you can use any single function. You can use multiple functions. You can do a lot of things, and everything works in the time that you want it to work. But when you start to go to low battery mode, things start to shut down, the screen shuts off, you can't stream things, and it prioritizes what's going to work. Well, the same thing goes for your body. We need a certain amount of energy to run everything. And then when we're sick, we actually don't have enough to run everything. But then we need extra energy for healing. So your body's actually telling you, you need to slow down and not do all this extra work that's expending energy, because we need this healing. We need this energy to do the work of healing. So honor the fatigue, get some extra sleep, practice breathing properly. And the best way is to breathe through your nose to activate your diaphragm and get more of that oxygen in, because the end result of more oxygen is more energy production. So here we have some visual images for you to see on the left-hand side. That's actually someone on our team. That is a 6-month period of time, where you can see on the left-hand side, the line down the middle, the hairline, there is some hair missing, is thinning out there, but all the way to the right, that was 6 months later, there's hair regrowth. That's only 6 months when you think about, it's actually a short period of time. And on the right-hand side, this one gets me every time I see it, because this is someone who's got scoliosis, which is a curvature of the spine. And this was only 4 weeks. So that's remarkably fast. And although it says the X39 and Icewave, that Icewave does not have regenerative capacity. So that is just strictly for extra pain. So it is the X39 that helped her body straighten her back out. And here on the left-hand side, we have this woman who has what's called vitiligo, but really what that means is there are areas of depigmentation in her skin. You can see on the very left that there's a patchy, really a big patchy area with less coloring. And she said she tried everything, nothing worked, but when she tried the X39, that worked. And you can see the image on the right. Although the coloring is slightly different, the important part is that she's got a nice uniform color on the back of her, on her back. And so that is what's important when it comes to vitiligo. It's even pigment on her back. And on the right-hand side, you can see this is the image of a knee. Well, I'm not sure if you can see, that is a knee after a knee replacement. And that is only on the right-hand side using the patches for 2 days. And that wound healing is extraordinarily fast. I've seen my whole career, I've seen, I don't know how many thousands of these. That is extremely fast. And here we have a brain scan of a 77-year-old woman who was not using the patches on the left-hand side. That's before using them. You can see the red, that shows inflammation in the brain as well. The dark blue is low activity, and the light blue and green, there's a little bit there, but that's what we want. That's coherence. That again is communication, which is how we express health. In the middle, that is only 3 weeks after using the X39. All the inflammation is gone. There's no more red. There's a little bit more of the green and the light blue coming in. Again, coherence. And on the right-hand side, this is only 6 weeks after using the X39, and still no inflammation. All the red is gone. And now it is full of light blue and green, which is coherence, which is again about communication.
Awesome. So thank you, Rachel, for taking us through that. Now I would love to introduce you to the genius behind this phototherapy patch. So Meet David Schmidt. He is the CEO of this 20-year-old company. He actually started working with the US government. He was actually part of the Navy SEAL survival program, where he was creating something that could keep the SEALs alert, mentally focused on these missions during Hell Week, it was called, that lasted 36 hours. So these 36-hour missions. And that's where this first patch of Lifewave, so not the X39, but the original patch of Lifewave was born. That was his first patent. He now has over 200 patents to his name. So then through his networks, through his connections, David found himself at Stanford University patching the US Olympic swim team. They ended up having tremendous success, and they all set personal records, but that was 20 years ago. But then in 2008, David turned his attention to stem cell research, knowing the future of medicine and regenerative science was in stem cells. And so he began to figure out a way that he could leverage the natural stem cells that are inside the human body. So by 2020, after 10 years of research, $4.5 million later, he received a 20-year patent on the X39, which is the only phototherapy patch that activates our own stem cells. And so this resulted in tremendous growth for the company this past year, 2024, closing out over $600 million. So this 3,000% growth rate in 4 years. And so Lifewave has been recognized for this massive growth by Direct Selling News with the Bravo Growth Award. And this award honors companies with the highest year-over-year revenue growth on the Global 100 list. So companies that are not only scaling their businesses, but setting new benchmarks for the entire industry. And Lifewave has received the Bravo Growth Award for 2 years in a row now. And so there really is nothing out there on the market like this. There is no competition. This is a novel product. No one else has this. And there's no competition because the X39 holds this 20-year patent. There's a 22-page patent, but this one paragraph really says it all. Elevates copper peptide, activates stem cells, improves the improvements in strength, stamina, pain relief. So the patent is on the structure, the material in the patch, where the patch is reflecting the specific frequencies of light back into the body. And they had to prove that that works. And so clinical studies were done that shows the significant increase in the production of copper peptide GHKCU. It was measured through blood samples, urine analysis, other lab analysis. I encourage you, if you like to do your own research, you can check out the patents, the studies. There are a number of great videos at this website, the bottom right corner, thisisit.info.com. So videos, explaining the technology, David Schmidt being interviewed, other doctors being interviewed, and really powerful testimonials. So everything from, there's a whole children's section. There's a section on sleep. We've heard a lot about that tonight, neurological issues, eye improvements. So you can go check it out at thisisit.info.com. And so what we've introduced you to tonight goes far beyond the surface, because we know it's not just about less pain or more energy. It's about what that healing allows you to do. So it allows you to thrive, right? With more confidence, more energy, feeling better from the inside out. And for some, it could also be easing of finances and potentially financial freedom with the momentum of this company. So just simply sharing or blessing your friends and family, you could potentially offset the cost of your patches, make an additional bill payment, or live a life with more ease, maybe even a life of abundance. This is the power of the patch. So let me show you how you can get started. So Lifewave offers 3 options to enroll. These prices are in US dollars. And so for a month's worth of patches, there are 30 patches in a sleeve in this envelope that we call a sleeve. So first, you can enroll as a retail customer paying retail price at $150 US. So we see practitioners in the States set themselves up like this, offering this to their patients in their clinics. But of course, we promote getting set up with the wholesale pricing of $99 US. So then you have 2 other options to set yourself up. You can sign up as a preferred customer, commit to a monthly subscription, or as a brand partner. And as a brand partner, you can take advantage of the wholesale pricing, but you also can secure a spot on the team and can leverage the incredible momentum that this company is experiencing by building a business without additional cost. There is no overhead. It's just the cost of your personal patches. And so what we often see is that people begin to experience success with the products, so they naturally share them with others, and then they can earn commission. And sometimes they end up building a business on a full-time basis. And we have many people on our team, including Rachel and I, that saw the opportunity, and we are building successful businesses. So signing up as a brand partner, there's no pressure to share or build a business, nor is there an additional investment or commitment. You're just, again, paying for the cost of your own patches. There are 4 enrollment kits to get you started. And as you can see with these packages, the more that you purchase upon signing up, the better the value. The cost of those sleeves comes down considerably for your initial order. You can upgrade any time through those enrollment kits and just pay the difference, receive the difference in the number of sleeves. And just to let you know, this is just for enrollment. This would not be the monthly commitment, but this is just to get you started, and the cost of those patches come down considerably. And that way you have extra sleeves on hand to loan them out to the Tamaras of the world in a parking lot, so they can get started while they wait for their order to come in. And so we do have a very attractive compensation plan for those interested in sharing the product. We actually have just launched Comp Plan 2.0 enhancements, so the comp plan is even more generous and set up for the long game. It's actually a hybrid comp plan where it's a binary, where you're building 2 teams, a left team and a right team, but you also get paid in unilevel now, which is really unique. Rachel and I actually just returned from the Lifewave corporate convention not that long ago, where we were recognized for achievements in the company. And we've done this by being coachable and plugging into the resources of this incredible team. So we do have this amazing, incredible leadership team that you too can leverage. So this company, with this massive growth, this massive trajectory, our team is actually the #1 team in the whole company. It has incredible supports and training and systems in place to grow your business. And, neither of us have network marketing experience or direct sales experience, but we really have a passion for helping others through the freedom model, with health being the foundation of it all. So we hope that you seriously consider this modality for your health goals, potentially maybe for your financial goals. We encourage you to reach back out to the person that invited you on the call tonight. We will be opening up for questions for those on the call tonight, so stay tuned. But for those tuning into the replay, we thank you for taking the time and learning about this unconventional healing modality. And we hope to see you on the team soon and hear your powerful testimonials. Take care, everyone.